I am Mohammed the Egyptian cook, and for today's live, I will be making kunafa. I'm currently live on TikTok and on YouTube, so welcome to everybody joining in to my kitchen. Today's live, we are making kunafa. So the recipe that I will be sharing today is actually Mama's recipe that she taught me on how to make, and that is what I will be making today for this live. I will also be recording on my other camera as well to create a final cut of the recipe video for this kunafa, which I plan to post to my page, to my social media tomorrow, Tuesday. So definitely, if you're not already following, be sure to hit that follow and subscribe on YouTube, so that way you can see the final cut of this kunafa video, recipe video, when it posts tomorrow. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. First thing that I do when it comes to recording my recipe videos is I record my voice over audio lines. I have 3 pages here, about like 2 3/4. It is in larger size font though. For those of you who do not know, I am legally blind, not fully blind, legally blind. So essentially my vision is 20/200, so I have to print in large size font. This is size 25 point font in order to help me read my lines. Anything that you see is highlighted is my way of knowing when it comes to recording the actual shot, that shot I'm going to adjust the camera so that it is up on me, and I will actually be saying whatever it is in that step as I'm doing whatever it is in that perspective step. Anything above the line is my intro and outro. And as you can see, second page here, there's some highlighted parts. Up here at the top, this is gonna be my favorite one because this is where I introduce my sarcasm and humor, and I also yell. So that part's always fun. And then towards the end, at the very end, the Yallah, Bismillah, also one of my favorite parts because it means I can eat. However, things will be done a little bit differently today, considering that it is the month of Ramadan and I am fasting. So I will not be recording that part up until later tonight when I can break my fast. I think the time today for Maghrib is like 7:32 or 33 or 34. I have to check, but it's one of those. Yesterday it was 7:32, so today it's going to be 7:32, 33, or 34 for when I can break my fast. But for the purpose of this live, I will be recording everything but that. And then later tonight, I'm not going to go live again for that, just to eat the one slice, because that will be like a 5-minute live. And that's not really necessary for me to do. But later tonight, when it's time for me to break my fast, then I will eat the kunafa. I will record the parts that I need for the final cut. I will eat the kunafa, and then I will start working on editing that recipe video. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move you guys over here just for this first part, this first portion of the live where I record my lines. And then once I finish recording my lines, then I will move you guys over here to the table that I have set up here, but behind the kitchen island, so that way you guys have a better point of view of what is happening. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and record all of my audio voice-over lines that will be required for this recipe video. Start this recipe by preparing the simple syrup. Going to do that one again. Just delete that clip. Let's give it another go. Start this recipe by preparing the simple syrup. Combine equal parts water and sugar in a pot. Bring it to a low simmer. Squeeze in fresh lemon juice. And continue stirring it. Once the simple syrup has reduced and thickened, turn off the heat. Now add vanillin with sugar. I'm going to redo that one. So let me delete this clip. Okay. Let's try that one again. Now add vanillin. Going to try that one again. I'm rewriting, so I originally wrote now add vanillin with sugar. The packet is vanillin with sugar, but I'm not going to say vanilla and sugar. I'm going to combine it with my next one, my next line. So let's try that again. So I need to adjust my tone essentially as I am saying said instruction and step. Now add vanillin. Mix it. And let this cool down to room temperature. Combine crushed walnuts, golden raisins, sugar, and a pinch of cinnamon. Going to redo that one again. Actually, no. I don't need to say ground cinnamon. It should be implied that it's going to be ground since I said pinch. A pinch of cinnamon. Mix it all together. Now set the mixed nuts to the side. To prepare the kunafa, start by tearing the dough into smaller pieces. Once you have shredded the kunafa, add it to a large bowl. Now melt semna. I don't think I said the T the first time in melt. I think I said melt. Now melt semna. I don't know what I was thinking. And pour it over the kunafa. Add sugar. And massage it all in. To a baking dish. Use half of the kunafa for the bottom layer. Press it down to ensure an even layer. The middle layer is the mixed nuts. The top layer is the other half of kunafa. Press it down to ensure you have an even layer. Here it is, fresh out of the oven. I think I said that with a question at the end. I don't know why. Let me redo that. That's gonna be the part where I take it out of the oven and I set it right here how I usually do for like anything, like any of the baked foods that I make. I usually say, here it is, fresh out of the oven, showing that motion of me setting it right here, and the camera will be angled down, looking at whatever it is I just prepared. But I guess I said it as a question. Here it is, fresh out of the oven. Now pour the simple syrup over it. Cover it with foil. I didn't say and. Now pour the simple syrup over it. And cover it with foil to bring down to room temperature. I think I missed. Allow the kunafa time. No. How did I say this line? Because I wrote it as one sentence where I say, I wrote this where I said, where I would say, pour the simple syrup over it and cover it. But then the line after that I wrote, allow the kunafa time to cool before you cut it. I'm thinking I'm going to take and cover it and combine it with the second line. So let me see my tone on this one. Okay. I didn't do that pause like that a person naturally does when you're speaking and there's like a comma in the sentence and you have that pause. So that's what I was looking for when I just listened to it right now. And I think it should be okay with how I originally said it. So now I need to change this, cover it and allow. Cover it. I'm going to say cover it with foil instead to give me a little bit more time for that shot as I'm doing that. Cover it with foil and allow the kunafa time to cool before you cut it. When serving kunafa, I don't know why I just I went to speak, but then it didn't. So let's try it again. When serving kunafa, make sure you prepare. No, don't say prepare. Make sure you serve it with a cup of shay. Okay. Those are all my lines. This can turn. This is turning too. All right. Now I just need to get myself situated for this next part, and then I'm going to move you guys over here so that way you can have a better point of view. I think that's everything that I need. I need a spoon. All right. I think we're good to go. Let's go on a little trip. I'm going to adjust you guys again, but I need to walk behind you in order to do so. Trying to adjust the camera. Hopefully everybody can see me okay. All right, it's YouTube. I think this should be okay for everyone. So we got TikTok to my left and YouTube to my right. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So this is going to be a recording line for me, and also to my right, so to everybody's left is my actual camera where I will be recording my shots for what will be for what will make up the final cut of the recipe video, which I will post to my page sometime tomorrow. So let's go ahead and get started. Of course, it wants to start rocking and making that noise. All right, let's try that again. Oh boy. Start this recipe. Start this recipe. Start this recipe by preparing the simple syrup. I should say it all together so that way it has a consistent flow with my speech. And then I can just crop it and edit it when it comes time. and adjust it. So let's try it again. All right. Because I'm going to cut the, like change the camera angle and all of that to zoom in more, like as the pot is going down and all that fun stuff. So let's try it again. Start this recipe by preparing the simple syrup. Next shot, I need to adjust the camera. So actually, just going to tilt it down. Making another adjustment. All right, this should be okay. That was the next shot. There's the water. There's the sugar. Oops. I need to adjust the camera down for this next shot. So I will be right back. I need to adjust the camera again for this next one. Need to make another adjustment. Essentially, I need to increase the height of the camera. All right, let's see how we look. All right, this should be okay. I also have 1 lemon. Just going to roll it as I'm pressing down on the counter, just to loosen it up a little bit. Then I need a knife. Okay, so it's all set. Because when it comes time to squeeze the lemon, we will find out if there are any seeds in there. It looks like there was a seed, but I guess it wasn't. All right, so right now we're just waiting. We got water and sugar in the pot right now. We're just waiting for it to heat up. Once it heats up, once essentially it starts to bubble, that's when I will squeeze in the lemon juice. I'm going to adjust the camera angle while we're waiting as well. All right, it just started bubbling. Just adjusting the heat. going to go grab a small hand towel. Just set that there for now. Hopefully no seeds went in there. I won't be able to tell right now as it's still bubbling. But once it cools down, it'll be easier for me to see whether there is or isn't. I need to adjust the camera. Once the simple syrup has reduced and thickened, turn off the heat. Still have a few more minutes for the simple syrup. But for this point of view, the camera is on me. You can see the pot like towards the bottom of the frame. So it's just easier for me to record that portion now as I'm whisking it than later on when that time comes. Let's see. Cool. Going to make an adjustment. I need to make another adjustment. Bear with me here. All right, this should be okay. Few more minutes and this will be all set. For those of you just joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad, the Egyptian cook, and I am working on preparing kunafa for today's live video. I'm also recording on my other camera as well for the purpose of the actual recipe video that I will be posting to my social media platforms. Right now we are working on the simple syrup. The reason why I'm doing making the simple syrup first is because you need to let it cool down to room temperature, which does take some time. So doing the simple syrup first to get that out of the way. Then we're going to move on to the filling. And then after that, we are going to prepare the kunafa dough. And while we have some downtime right now, waiting on the simple syrup, just yesterday, actually in the past week now, I have been working on a I don't want to necessarily call it a series because I didn't really say that in the video. I don't know. You can call it a series if you want to. It was a 3-part video. The first one was where I made clarified butter. The second one was to make salty milk solids called morta. And the third one was to make mish cheese. So I just posted the mish cheese video yesterday. And it's actually, it's been, I know this is going to sound wild, it's been my best performing video this Ramadan so far, which is wild. I had, I had some family members and friends say to me why I'm making such weird things for Ramadan, like where's the atayif, where's the kunafa, and where's, all of these amazing foods, but I'm over here making clarified butter, morta, which morta, for those of you who do not know, is a salty milk solid. It's a delicacy in Egyptian culture. And then the third thing I made was mish cheese. And to everyone's surprise, so yesterday I posted the mish cheese video, and on TikTok in itself, within the first 24 hours, it got 150,000 views on it. So people are definitely loving it. If you have not watched it, definitely watch it. It is on my TikTok, it's on my YouTube as well. So definitely check out my mish cheese recipe video of how to prepare it. Even if you don't like it, at least hopefully you learned something from that video. All right. So let's go ahead and work on this next part. So this is just vanillin with sugar. It's just 2 packets. There's I don't know, I would say like 1/4 teaspoon in here, so barely anything at all. All right, so, no, not like that. Let's try it like this. Let me switch these around. Let me make sure that focus was right. All right, we should be good. I need some scissors to cut these open. I need to adjust the camera, so I will be right back. Need to make another adjustment. Mix it and let it cool to room temperature. Mix it and let it cool down to room temperature. Let's see how it looks. I didn't say cool down, I just said let it cool. I mean, same difference, but let's see how it looks. Mix it and let it cool to room temperature. Let's try it again. Mix it and let this cool down to room temperature. Let's review. Mix it and let this cool down to room temperature. I'm going to try it one more time. Mix it and let it cool down to room temperature. Let's see. That time I was mixing it while I was mixing it. That time I was mixing it while I was saying mix it. So let's see if it looks any better or not. Let's review. Mix it and let it cool down to room temperature. All right, I have two to choose from when the time comes for me to edit later tonight. I will make my decision then. So the simple syrup is all set. So now, as I just said a couple seconds ago, once it's all mixed, you just gotta let it cool down to room temperature. So I'm actually just going to set this behind me here, off to the side. I'm actually just gonna put it on the stove behind me. This I no longer need, so I can also move this countertop stove out of the way. Put that over there. All right, now onto the mixed nuts. So for that one, got a bowl. I'm going to be using walnuts, raisins, sugar, and just a pinch of cinnamon. I need to grab a small bag for these walnuts. gonna need a bigger bowl. And I'm going to need possibly more walnuts. Up next are some golden raisins. You can always add more if need be. So I'm just going to set some off to the side for now. Let's try that again. Get rid of that other clip. Okay, that one can stay. That one can go. And that one can stay. Next is sugar. And finally, just a pinch of cinnamon. I need to adjust the camera. This is where some of my sarcasm comes into play. Let's see how it goes. Oh, kunafa is supposed to have cheese. Okay, خلاص, I'm happy for you and your cheese pull. All right, let's see how that one looked. Let's see. I'm gonna do it one more time. That one was okay, but I'm gonna do it one more time, and that way, when I go to edit this later tonight, I can choose which one I think is better overall. All right, take two. Oh, kunafa is supposed to have cheese. Okay, خلاص, I'm happy for you and your cheese pull. Let's see how that one looked. I think that one's gonna be better because I went like this with my hand when I said cheese pull. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I think that one's the winner. I had to record one more line as well. Just making sure this is all mixed together well. So this is how it looks. Here you go, YouTube. There you go, TikTok. Now set these mixed nuts to the side. see how it looks before we move on. Because after this, we can start working on the kunafa dough.
Now set these mixed nuts to the side.
Let me try it one more time. Now set these mixed nuts to the side. Let's review.
Now set these mixed nuts to the side.
Nope. Take 3. Now set these mixed nuts to the side. I think that one's the winner. Let's see. I hope.
Now set these mixed nuts to the side. Mixed nuts to the side.
Okay. I think it will be okay. I don't know. Let's try it again. All right. Take 4. Now set these mixed nuts to the side.
Now set these mixed nuts to the side.
Nope. All right, take 5. Now set this mixed nuts filling to the side. All right, that one's got to be it. I hope.
Now set this mixed nuts filling to the side.
All right, one last time. If this is not it, so be it. Now set this mixed nuts filling to the side. I'm done. All right, I need to make. TikTok wants me to do this little puzzle thing, and it's so annoying. Of course, it's going to tell me error. Thank God. All right. Got it on the second try. All right. So mix nuts, filling to the side. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way because now we can work on the kunafa. This bowl's dirty. All right, so for this next part, I'm essentially going to cut the kunafa and throw it all into a large bowl, add some samna, which is clarified butter, and some sugar, massage it all in, and then we can start layering the kunafa and bake it in the oven. This can go to To prepare the kunafa, start by tearing it into small pieces. I think my hand drifted out of frame on that one. Let's see. It's right when I looked over at the end, it only showed like it was missing.
To prepare the kunafa,
Oh yeah,
start by
it was actually on this side, so like this part of the box wasn't showing. So let's try it again. To prepare the kunafa, is it to prepare the kunafa? No. Now let's prepare the kunafa dough. Let's see how that looks.
Now let's prepare the kunafa dough.
Good to go. Going to adjust the camera down for this next part. So here's how the kunafa dough looks. So now, instead of it being like these long spaghetti-like lengths, I'm going to tear it into, and of course my camera wants to tell me internal temperature too hot. But yeah, so this is kunafa dough. So essentially for this next step is just tearing it. You can use a knife or you can use your hands. Just pull it apart. It doesn't have to be super tiny, it doesn't have to be all the exact same length or any of that. Just tear it into smaller portions. And you also want to be able to like fluff it in a way so it's not so compact, because we still do need to add sugar and butter and semna, clarified butter. So while my other camera, my recording camera, is off and cooling down, just going to work on tearing some of this to get me started. And then I will record the shot that I need and continue tearing. All right, let's try this again with my camera, just so I can get the shot that I need. Then we can go ahead and move forward with the process. Thank you. I think I got what I needed. Oops. Okay. Here's how it looks. About to go into the large bowl. Well, like 97% of it went into the large bowl. So I just threw the samna in the microwave for about 30 seconds. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to change one of my lines because originally I recorded now melt samna, which for those of you who do not know, samna is Arabic for clarified butter. So originally I said now melt samna and pour it over the kunafa. I'm going to refine that and say now pour melted samna over the kunafa. Going to add some more. Oops. Just put it in for another 30 seconds. I'm going to pour it over, add the sugar, and then massage it all together. And of course, my camera just overheated again, saying internal temperature too hot. Whatever, it's okay. So let me flip it off really quick. While that's cooling down, once again, I'm going to continue massaging this all in. And once my camera cools down, I need to adjust the angle up so that it is focused on me while I'm still mixing it. And then I do have a line that I need to record where essentially I'll say that the sugar will not only sweeten the dough, but it will also help hold it together. How did I write it? The sugar will not only sweeten it, but also hold the kunafa together. That's what I wrote. You want to do the best that you can to ensure all of the kunafa dough is buttered. And when I'm going like this, like after I lift it up, and I'm going like this, it's essentially to spread or fluff. Well, you can't necessarily fluff it as much anymore because of the fact that it's now wet from the butter. But essentially what I'm trying to do is just to spread it as much as possible to give it that like fluffy effect. And then when it comes time to layer it, you'll see the process. It's fairly simple. You split this into two portions, into two halves. One for the bottom layer, one for the top layer. And then when you layer it, that's when you want to compact it and press it together for it to hold. But for this purpose, while you're mixing it with the butter and sugar, you want to be gentle. Also, I'm going to, before I forget, I'm going to preheat my oven right now. That is something that I usually forget to do. All right, let me check on my camera as well. Hopefully it cooled down a bit so I can get this next shot in. to adjust my camera up for this next one. The sugar will not only sweeten it, but it also helps hold the kunafa together. The kunafa. The sugar will not only sweeten it, but also it will help hold the kunafa together. Let's review.
The sugar will not only sweeten it, but also it will help hold the kunafa together.
The sugar will not only sweeten it, it will help hold the kunafa together.
The sugar will not only sweeten it, it will help hold the kunafa together.
But it will also, I didn't say also, will not only sweeten it, but it will also. The sugar will not only sweeten it, but it will also help hold the kunafa together. Let's review. Oops. No.
The sugar will not only sweeten it, but it will also help hold the kunafa together.
Okay. I think that one's a winner. I need to wash my hands for this next shot, so I will be right back. All right. Next shot. Baking dish. I also need to adjust the camera angle as well. Do it like that for now. Then come back over here and adjust. bear with me here. I'm trying to get a shot of me sliding it in where I say to a baking dish, but I keep on colliding it to everything possible. This is gonna be it though. That was it. All right. All right, so once you add the kunafa dough to the baking dish, you just want to spread it out before you start pressing it down. Try to get it as evenly spread as you can. Okay. That beeping was the oven. Okay. Once you press it down, you'll be able to have a better feel, because you want it to be as even as possible for this layer. So as you press it down, you'll have a better feel whether one part is thicker than the rest, and then you can adjust accordingly. Oops. I need to wash my hands. Be right back. So same thing with the filling. You want to make it as even as you possibly can. third and final layer is the second half of the kunafa dough. Same as before, just evenly spread it before you press it down. Camera battery just died again. So I have it layered. I need to press it down, but my camera for recording purposes for like the actual recipe video is currently down right now because the internal temperature is too hot. It's the third time it's happened for during this live. So I'm gonna go wash my hands and I will be right back. So I'm actually going to use a burger press to press it down to make that top layer much more even. Let's see how it goes. Actually, let's do a quick test. See how it goes. Yeah. Okay. That wasn't a bad idea. be right back again. All right, while we're waiting for my camera to cool, the camera that I'm using to record the actual recipe video, like the final cut that I post to my social media pages. So while we're waiting on that to cool, just going to give a few words here. For those of you joining in, welcome to my kitchen. I am Muhammad, the Egyptian cook. I'm currently live on TikTok and on YouTube right now, making this kunafa. So this is actually Mama's recipe that I am using. The filling consists of walnuts, golden raisins, sugar, and cinnamon. Not the traditional cheese that a lot of bakeries and families will do. There are a lot of variations of kunafa. This is just what we grew up with, and I've had it both with cheese and both like this way with the mixed nuts, and both are good. It's just based on your preference. There really is no wrong answer with that. What's happened recently, so in the past week or so, I had like a little mini series, one for clarified butter, another one for morta, which is an Egyptian delicacy of salty milk solids, and the third one was for mish cheese. So I just posted the mish cheese recipe video yesterday, and it has been my top video thus far for Ramadan. Shockingly, usually more people are going for, you know, the sweets and all the goodies during Ramadan, but I kind of did the opposite at the beginning, and I went for salty milk solids and mish, and it kind of worked out in the end. In a way. So if you have not already checked out those videos, definitely check it out. Of the three, if you had to choose one to watch, I would recommend you watch the mish, how to prepare the title of the video is how to prepare authentic mish cheese recipe. So definitely check that out. I just posted it yesterday. It is on my TikTok and on my YouTube. What's coming up next? Well, currently, obviously, I'm working on the kunafa. Then after this, I'm actually, not today though, but like later on throughout this week, and into next week as well, I will be working on another dessert called mashabbik. I'm actually not a fan of it. It's essentially like an Egyptian style funnel cake, I guess is a good way for you to describe it. I personally do not like it, like at all whatsoever. Like anytime, I remember when I was younger, anytime Mama would make, she would make mashabbik, I would get super excited because it's a dessert and it's a sweet, and I love sweets. And I would get super excited for it, and like, it was like a memory reset in a way. Like I would take one bite and I would be over it. Like I never really liked it. And then, you know, the following year she would make it again during Ramadan, and I would get super excited for it, and then I would take one bite and I'd be over it. But there are a lot of people out there who do like mashabbik, so that will be is on the agenda in the coming days. I also have ulas on the schedule for this week and the next couple days. It's essentially a taro soup. For those of you who are familiar with ulas, you probably have heard the joke where it's essentially a knockoff molokhia. That was actually a running joke that I would have with some of my family members that we would joke about when we were younger. Because when you first see it at first glance, you think it's molokhia, but then you realize that it's a lot thinner. And you'll see when the time comes in the next couple of days when I make that recipe video for ulas, which is taro soup that is very popular in Egyptian culture as well. What else? I also have pickled lemon, lamoun mekhalil as well. I've been working on this for like 10 days now. Later today I have to work on the pickle brine, and then I have to wait a few days for it to pickle, and then it should be ready. Currently it has been soaking in this large pot right here. It's been soaking for about a week now. I should actually move it away from the stove since now the oven's on. So that's also on the agenda as well. What else? Am I missing something? Oh, that one's the mashabik. So this one's for the lamun, the pickled lemons, the lamun makhalil, and this one's for the mashabik. So those are my 4 upcoming recipe videos. And when the time comes for each of them, with the exception of the pickled lemon one, because that one had to be split between, today would essentially be the 3rd day of recording for that video. So I'm not going to be going live for that one, but for all the other recipe videos, I will be going live for those. So definitely stay tuned for those. If you're not already following me on TikTok or subscribe to my YouTube, go ahead and do so you can get notified when I go live and when I update those recipe videos to my page. All right, let's go ahead and turn the camera back on. Hopefully that gave it enough time for it to cool down, so that way we can move forward. Need to make a minor adjustment over here. Need to adjust the camera. This is the part where I say bake in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, blah, blah, blah. Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until the top layer becomes golden brown. All right, let's review, see how that looks.
Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until the top layer becomes golden brown.
Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until the top layer becomes golden brown.
Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until the top layer becomes golden brown.
Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until the top layer becomes golden brown. That one should be it. Let's see.
Bake this in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes or until the top layer becomes golden brown.
All right, I need to clear some of this stuff. Set that there for now. No longer need this. Dishwasher, all this, dishwasher. Okay. So I need to move the camera over to get the oven shot. Just bear with me as I'm clearing the counter space from all of this nonsense. Dishwasher as well. I also need to clean all of this up as well. All right, you guys are going to get a different view here of the kitchen. Ignore the mess. It is a hot mess over there right now, but that's okay. Right now I'm adjusting my other camera as well. Let's see how we look. Okay. So that takes care of that shot. But then I also need to have, before I can actually start baking it, I need to adjust my camera for where I say here it is fresh out of the oven. So let me go ahead and get that shot ready. So that way when the timer goes off, I don't have to worry about adjusting or doing anything. It's ready. So just bear with me here. All right, that should be okay. Back in the oven we go. It is currently, well, it says 4:29, but I never reset my clock for daylight savings time. So it's actually 5:29. It's basically 5:30. So at 5:45, 5:50, we're going to do our first check on the kunafa while it's in the oven. Bringing you guys over here while we clean up. All right. This jar is for when I make the pickled lemons. Everything's going in the dishwasher, essentially, with the exception of the cutting board. That's everything for now. The rest I will hand wash. I'll turn on the dishwasher later once I'm done with the baking and recording the shots that I need. All right, that's everything for now in terms of the cleaning. Let's put you back over here. It's only been about 5 minutes now. Still nothing has changed. So the kunafa is currently in the oven right now, baking at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It does take roughly 20 minutes or so of bake time. You just want that top layer of the kunafa to reach that like golden brown color. So that is the current status of the kunafa. Here, I'll give you guys a look as to how it is so far. I'm hoping you guys can see it. It's only been 5-6 minutes now in the oven. Set you back over there. All right, so while we're waiting on that, we still have another like 10-15 minutes where I guess we can, let's see, can I detach this and go to, I could relocate to my computer. You know what, I'm just gonna stay right here and essentially just monologue it out with everybody. Forgive me if I'm not responding to your comments. It is really difficult for me to be able to see the comments on screen due to my vision disability. For those of you who do not know, I am legally blind. I was diagnosed with a form of macular degeneration when I was younger. So I do things a little bit differently. One of which, like when it comes to reading, like here are all my instructions and notes for this very recipe video that we have been working on for the past hour or so now. So when it comes to your comments, it is difficult for me to actually see it on screen unless I am sitting on my computer where I have a giant, essentially a 40-inch monitor that helps me when it comes to engaging with the viewers. So for the purpose of the next like 15 minutes or so, I'm just going to monologue it out. But you guys feel free to engage with each other, keep the conversation going with everybody who's in the lobby, and we can take it from there. So in past news of what I have been working on, I recently did like a 3-video build-up series, I guess you can call it. I'm actually going to, hold on one second, I'm actually going to crack open a window because it is starting to get really hot in here. All right, so I just did a 3-part video, like build-up series, whatever you want to call it. The first one was for clarified butter, how to make clarified butter. The reason why I made the clarified butter is because when you melt the butter down, it separates into essentially 2 things. It separates into the clarified butter and into the foamy white milk solids. And so I harvested the clarified butter, which looks like this. Looks like regular butter, but this is clarified butter. It does not have any milk solids or salt or anything. And then separately, I harvested the milk solids where I essentially added a whole lot of sea salt to it and I caramelized it. I no longer have the milk solids to show you right now because I did use it in the part 3 recipe, which was for making mished cheese. So bear with me here as I pull that out. One second, please. Let's see. So I used the milk solids to prepare this mished cheese. You can kind of see the little bits of white at the bottom there. That's where the actual cheese is. And the rest of this brown substance is essentially, it's the base. It is the base to mished cheese, which is a mixture of kind of like a yogurt-like substance that you get from fermenting milk, from essentially spoiling milk, and mixed with the milk solids. So that's how it gets that brownish color, is from the milk solids. And then the cheese is submerged in there and you let it ferment for at least a year. Mished cheese is incredibly popular in Egyptian culture. It's essentially one of those treasures that's passed down from generation to generation. So definitely, if you have not watched my mished cheese video, definitely watch that one. And if you know any Egyptians, definitely share it with them and see what they have to say about mished cheese. There are those who either like it or those who absolutely hate it. I am one of those people who absolutely loves mished cheese. I have a bowl of it that I prepared the other day. Here is how it looks. I mixed in some tomatoes with it, some diced tomatoes and olive oil. And you eat it with pita bread, you can eat it with fatir. There are so many different ways that you can eat it. It's essentially a very salty old cheese. But that mish is from a different batch from my parents that they've had, I think like since the 70s or the 80s. So that cheese is really, really, really old. This, however, that I made in this jar, it's only a few days old, so we still have a lot of time to wait. So let's go ahead and check on the time and see how we're looking. All right, so it's 5 541. Top is still, like, it looks a little bit yellowish to me. Here, I'll give you guys a look. We want golden brown. Golden brown is the goal. So 10 minutes in. We still have some more baking to do. All right. So that's that. Miss Cheese, share it with your friends and family. Definitely go check out that video. All right, so let me put this back in its corner. All right, and other news for my next videos that I have prepared. So this one is at the tail end of the video. It's been about, I don't know, like 7-10 days, somewhere in that ballpark now. I've been working on this one. It is essentially 4 pickled lemons. So you can't really tilt it any more without spilling the water that's in here. But I have a whole bunch of lemons that are in here. They're whole lemons. Here, let me just pull one out. So we got whole lemons that have been soaking. So first, essentially what I did is I cooked them for about, well, I cleaned them first with some baking soda and water. Then I cooked them for about 10 to 15 minutes in boiling water, drained the water. Then I've been letting it soak for today's, it's been a week now that I've been letting it soak for. And each day you swap out the water like once or twice a day. Swapping out the water will help reduce that bitter taste from the lemon peel. And then later today, I will prepare the pickle brine, and then I will transfer these all to a giant jar, and then add the pickle brine, and then let it cool down, throw it in the fridge for a few days, and then we'll do the final result in a few days. So that's also coming up next, or soon, I should say. Let me wash my hands. So pickled lemons is coming soon. Right now, we are currently working on the kunafa. So the kunafa video will actually post to my pages, to my social media tomorrow. It will probably be, like, realistically speaking, the kunafa recipe video will post on my social medias like really late tonight, like probably like 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Because after this, so I can't break my fast until about 7:30ish, like 7:32, 33, 34. So I'm going to record, the final result where I say, Yallah, Bismillah, and I cut into it. That won't be until later tonight. Then once that's done, I will start editing that video. It usually takes me a few hours to edit each video. So probably around like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning tonight will be when I post the final cut to the kunafa video. So that's going to be the next immediate video that I post to my page. After that, I have the lamoon mekhalil. Then after that, I also have another dessert called mashabbik. I'm not a fan of mashabbik, like at all whatsoever, but I'm going to make it because it is really popular during the month of Ramadan, and really nobody else is making it. Everybody right now is just chasing after like all the variations of Dubai chocolate, and they're putting it in everything now. And I saw people, they're mixing it with strawberries and all this stuff, and it's just like, really, guys, like, come on. But anyways, so while everybody's out there chasing those trends, I'm doing my own thing and setting my own path, is the way I'm looking at it. So I'm making mashabbik, which is essentially, you can think of it as like an Egyptian style funnel cake. But instead of, like the powdered sugars or like cinnamon blend or any of that type of stuff, it's dipped in a simple syrup. So that's coming up next. I remember when I was younger, Mama would make this. Mama would make mashabbik every year during Ramadan, especially, and I would get super excited for it because I love sweets, I love desserts, I have a sweet tooth, and I would get super excited for it. And I remember her taking it. She would fry it fresh, and then she'd dip it and roll it in the simple syrup, and I would be so excited, like this is about to be so good. And I take one bite, and every time I would just be like, nope, just take my one bite, and I'm done. Like I don't even want a second bite. And time would pass, the year would pass on, and Ramadan would come again the following year, and then same thing. She would make mashabbik, and I would get super excited because it's dessert, and I would forget about that I don't like mashabbik, and I think all the excitement for something sweet in general would like cloud my judgment, I guess you could say. And same thing, I would take a bite, it's hot and fresh out of the oil, just rolled in the simple syrup right before me. Take a bite, nope, don't like it. I don't know, mashabbik is just one of those. I've even had it like at bakeries as well, in restaurants. It's not good. For me personally, I do not like it. But there are a lot of people who absolutely love mashabbik, so I think it's good to shine some light on that dessert, something that's really underrepresented in terms of what people make on social media. A lot of people, they like to follow trends of what's popular rather than setting their own path. So that's essentially what I'm trying to do here. What else do I have planned? Oh, I have ul-as coming up as well too, which is a very popular Egyptian soup. It is a taro soup. It's made from taro root, which is essentially like a potato, but not a potato. I don't know if it counts as a potato or not. I'm not sure. But it's a taro soup. So it has the taro root, and then some greens, and then the broth, and then some pieces of lahma. So a joke that my brother and I would have, a running joke that we would have when it comes to ul-as, is that it's knockoff molokhia, because like at first glance it looks like molokhia, and there's pieces of like potato in it and lahma in it, and you get so excited, so you're like, oh my goodness, this is upgraded molokhia. But then you start eating it and you realize it's not molokhia. It's not even made of the same leaf as molokhia, and there's barely any lahma in it, and there's barely any greens in it, and it's super thin, and you're just like, okay, this is knockoff molokhia. So it's just one of our running jokes that we have. In terms of for like the actual recipe video, I'll see on how I can incorporate that in my writing, just to add like a little comedic relief to the video. So I'll think of something good, hopefully. Probably something along the lines of me mocking the haters, how I usually do, and then saying okay khalas, and then I'll think of something clever to say. So that's also on the agenda. Am I missing something for the coming weeks? I think that's it for now. For those are my next upcoming four recipe videos. I can start to smell the kunafa right now, so let's go ahead and take a look. Whoa. It is 5:50 right now, so it has been 20 minutes. All right, it looks like there's some coloration like in that corner on that side, but not everywhere else. So we still need more time. Here, let me grab this oven mitts. I need to take a closer look at it and see if I need to rotate it or not. All right, so we're almost there. Probably like 5 more minutes, because the ends, like around, like the border of the baking dish, has that nice golden color to it. The top layer is like a yellowish, like not quite golden yet. So we just need a little bit more time. But now that we're considering that I can smell it. It's a very vibrant smell. It's especially from the semna is what I'm smelling right now. Make sure the semna with the sugar. Semna is Arabic for clarified butter or just butter. Either it's interchangeable between the two things, between between regular butter and clarified butter. But anytime from here on out, when you hear me say semna in any of my recipe videos, I am referring to clarified butter, considering that I just made it about like a week ago. I made a pyramid of out of these sticks of butter here. And then I melted it all down to harvest the clarified butter in one container, and then to harvest the milk solids on its own. And I added a whole lot of salt, a whole lot of sea salt to the clarified butter, to the milk solids to make morta. Morta is just Arabic for milk solids. And morta is a very popular delicacy in Egyptian culture. Then I use that morta to make mish. So anytime you hear me say semna in my upcoming videos, it is in reference to butter, more specifically in reference to clarified butter. And anytime you hear me say lahma in any of my videos, that means meat. What else? In terms of lahma, I have been thinking about doing another like story time video where I make kebab halla, also known as pot kebab. It's a very popular dish in Egyptian culture. It's essentially like a beef chuck roast cubed into smaller pieces and then cooked with a whole lot of onions, like a whole lot. Like when I say a lot, I mean a lot, to the point where the lahma is just buried in diced onions. And you cook it over like medium-low heat, which allows the onions to release all of its juices, and the onions will reduce into and form like an onion gravy, I guess you can call it. And then the lahma cooks all in it, and it's so good. So I'm thinking about doing another story time while making some lahma. Instead of giving out like the recipe instructions with what I'm saying, essentially I share a story as I am cooking. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go ahead and check on the kunafa again. It's been a few minutes. Let's see how we are doing. All right, it looks like the color is the golden color is starting to work its way through from the outside in. So we are making progress. We are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Here is the simple syrup from earlier. It looks like one of the seeds from the lemon did make it in there, so I need to fish that out. I got it. The simple syrup is good. So once the kunafa comes out of the oven, this simple syrup I made at the beginning of the live, this first step that I did, because essentially you want to allow it time to cool down to room temperature. As you can see, considering that I'm just holding the pot from the bottom like this with my bare hands, I think it's safe to say that this has cooled down to room temperature in that time. So once the kunafa comes out of the oven, I'm going to take the shot that I need, and then I'm going to pour the simple syrup over it. And then once that is all set, I'm going to cover it with foil. And then you want it to just cool down to room temperature before you serve it. It doesn't have to be completely cool. You can still serve kunafa warm. That's completely okay. But also another thing to consider, it is in the middle of the month of Ramadan. So I am fasting right now, and I cannot break my fast until a little bit after 7:30. I think the exact time is it's either 7:32 to 7:34, because yesterday it was 7:32 p.m. So I still have time before I can take those shots where I cut into it and show the final result, and where I say Yallah, Bismillah, and I dig in and I eat. So that part of the video I will not do until after sundown, after Maghrib tonight. But I will not be live for that portion of the video. So essentially, once I cover it, once I pour the simple syrup over the kunafa and cover it, I'll record whatever lines I need for that part, and then that will be concluding today's live. So we go ahead and check on it again. We're almost there. All right. Let me. Going to pull out the Kunafeh to check on it, 'cause it's easier for me to see over here than it is while it's in there. Much better coloring. I'm going to give it like 1.5 more minutes. So let me get myself ready. So I'm going to turn on my other camera. I'm going to move you folks back to your position down here. Right. Hopefully everyone can see me okay. Put this out of the way. All right. Turn this handle. This can go over here as well. All right. All right, turning off the oven. All right, here we go. Action. I'm super excited for this. Like really, really, really excited for this. The top layer is nice and crispy. All right, enough of that nonsense. Just giving it like another minute or so before I pour the simple syrup over it. Aluminum foil, so that is ready as well. All right, here we go with the simple syrup. The aroma right now, especially when that simple syrup hit the hot tray, the hot pan, or baking dish, whatever you want to call this. Oh my goodness, it's. In case you're wondering, that Pyrex dish is still scorching hot right now. All right, so that's it for that shot. Yeah. So the kunafa is now fresh, hot and fresh out of the oven. I just covered it with foil, and now I have to let it cool before I can slice into it. Essentially, what's going to happen in a couple hours when it's time for me to break my fast. I'm not going to be live for that part of the video, though. I'm going to slice into it. I'm going to pull the piece out. I'm just going to cut it in like a square-like piece, square-shaped piece or slice. I'm going to plate it, going to record my intro and my outro, and then my favorite part, the Yallah, Bismillah, because that means I get to eat whatever it is that I just made. And in this case, it is this kunafa. I am super excited for it, and I hope you are too. Let me go ahead and turn off this camera for this part, and then I'm going to adjust you guys. this. Because this essentially concludes my live for today, where I made this kunafa. Thank you for everybody who joined in. If you're not already following me on TikTok or subscribe to my YouTube, go ahead, hit that follow and that subscribe button. The kunafa recipe video will post to my pages, to my social media platforms tomorrow. So definitely hit that like and hit that subscribe and turn on notifications so you could be one of the first people to watch it. Thank you everybody who joined in and watched this live as I turned my kitchen into a disaster just to make this kunafa. I'm excited in a couple hours for when I break my fast and get to enjoy this. And tomorrow I'm even more excited because all of you get to watch the final cut of the recipe video. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you everybody for joining in today to my kitchen. I am Muhammad the Egyptian cook. Happy Ramadan, Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak to everybody celebrating this beautiful holiday, this beautiful month. So thank you everybody and have a good night.